Hi everyone, my name is Charlie and today is the beginning of another reading vlog. We are in the shop. Since last we spoke, I have read 170 pages of The Whalebone Theatre by Joanna, Quinn. I chose to pick this up after receiving a comment from Katie of Books and Things saying how great this book was, and who was the other person? I think it was Emily of Novel Novels said to go to the Whalebone Theatre as well. I thought, well, I've got a Sunday free. I actually, as with every time I'm talking about my reading, I'd hoped to read more yesterday, but that was simply because it was pouring down with rain when I got up in the morning, and I thought, well, if it sticks around, I can just have one of my afternoons of sitting in a corner and reading. But the rain let up at one point, and I thought, well, I suppose I better go and walk Cell. So we went for a jaunt down the towpath a little earlier than usual, and it was packed, so it slowed us down a little bit. Then when I got home, I read for about an hour and a half, but my sister and her fiance were coming round for Sunday lunch. Do you know, my mother's talking about turning this into a weekly thing, which fine, but she's just invited my older brother as well. And quite honestly, Sunday is my day of rest. Sunday is the day where I really just like to hunker down, and having to entertain people, it's frustrating. Like, there aren't enough seats in the living room when we have that pair there. So can you imagine what it's going to be like when we invite another two people? Still, the Whalebone Theatre, once everyone had beggared off, I'd had a bath, I got to read. When I first saw this book last year, I wondered whether it was going to leave me feeling how Kate Atkinson's books leave me feel. And there is a touch of that there. It's in the eccentricities of our protagonist, Christabel. At the moment, it's still feeling a little bit like a children's adventure, but it's because we are seeing it from this child's perspective. Yet within that, because we sometimes go into the adults' minds as well, we get to see what's actually going on. You get to see some more of these philanderers. There is something of the classic children's story within the writing of Christabel's life. She's left up in the attic room, and then she has a younger half sister whose mother has decided that she doesn't like because she thinks she's ugly and she needs everything to be perfect, so she's favouring her son, who's the youngest and who's the heir to this estate. But we know as readers that the estate funds aren't really there, and it's a case of the aristocracy crumbling around them, and they're just failing to notice this. So as with all books, I'm looking forward to seeing how this one turns out. And then once this is done, that's the biggest book from my alternative Women's Prize TBR to read. Well, it'll be done then. And then I've just got two more. Quite honestly, I think I've just decided I want some coffee. So I'm gonna go and do that. Wednesday. Whatever I thought I had last week is not just a cold. I honestly feel like back to 2019 when I ended up with, well, not even 2019, but 2019 had these symptoms that turned into a chest infection, and unlike the chest infection that was November 2022, it feels somewhat more different to that. So this is fun. If I had any other choice, I wouldn't be here today, but unfortunately, one of the staff members is in Brighton, and the other staff member is unavailable on Wednesdays, leaving me to look after the shop, with very few volunteers indeed. In fact, I won't know who's going to be here for another hour, so that'll be fun. I could have nobody at all. Anyway, I read 200 pages of the Whalebone Theatre yesterday because I could do little else. Just sat down in my corner. For the most part, the day was a write-off anyway due to the amount of torrential rain we had. But basically, whatever's wrong with me is saying to me, do you know, the best thing for you is to either lie down in bed or lie down on the settee. And I was fielding questions from this shop yesterday. And so one of the other reasons I'm here is because I just kept saying to people whenever they rang me, leave it and I'll sort it tomorrow. Leave it and I'll sort it tomorrow, because I couldn't deal with requests yesterday. I can't taste anything. I can't smell anything. My throat is red and raw. This is going to be a terrible day, but I'll speak to you when I speak to you. It's Friday, and I'm not in work because whatever affliction currently ails my body has rendered me weak. I sent a message to my manager yesterday saying that I was trying my darndest to get rid of it, but whatever it was lingering. I've since found out that Joy from the writers group is also experiencing similar symptoms, so I'm wondering whether it's something we caught when we went for coffee last week. I feel decidedly sick. It's this throat thing that by the end of the day I tend to have lost my voice. It's weakness all throughout the body. It's feverish. It's nausea. I don't know what it is, but the doctor says that if I still have symptoms by the time I've had it for a week, then antibiotics. But currently, just attacking it with throat lozenges, paracetamol and rest. And as I said to Charlie, rest makes me restless. Which is how I came to finish reading The Whalebone Theatre by Joanna Quinn yesterday. Because really, what else can you do when you're feeling poorly than read a 545-page tome? I mean, it helps that it's a fantastic read, and if you haven't read this book already, you really ought to. It's a very powerful book about sibling relationships, I'm going to say that. Familial relationships, pre-war and going into the Second World War. We have characters' lives changed irreparably, which this was the first time I think that I've ever read a book and ended up considering how the world in 1945 and afterwards would have been so suffused with grief, and why so much of the media that came out afterwards was so intent on happiness and comedy. Part of me is wondering, is that grief forgotten, and is that why so much of what goes on in the world today happens? It was a book that left me thinking a lot, but also I think that being unable to move and being incredibly rigid for an entire day also left me alone with my thoughts. Joanna Quinn writes incredibly well. Anyway, I really think that today I'm just going to be huddled up in the corner again. I don't know what I'll be reading, but that's even if I choose to read. Quite honestly, the main focus is just trying to get through this day, hoping that whatever's wrong with me is gone by tomorrow and I can go back to work, because I don't like being that person. I know I should change my ways a bit, I know. But hey, for now, I've still got a voice today. So, I will probably see you tomorrow to draw a line under things. Sorry, I keep looking at my hair and I'm like, yeah, I can tell that I'm not well today, because who the heck would leave their hair looking like this?
I can't go out. I'm sick.